Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jace. Thank you for checking out my video. And this is going to be my first official review for the very first episode of this new series called Baller Wives. I was kind of on the fence of, whether or not I was going to do this, but I said I'm going to give it a shot. Plus, it was in like the lineup after, the shows that I recorded on my DVR. So I was like, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. I'll give this maybe 3 episodes. So it's no guarantee I'm going to continue to review this shit because I'm really over the whole basketball wives, football wives, like these sports wives franchise. I'm over it. I kind of got over basketball wives back in the Miami days. Like once Evelyn started throwing bottles and shit and bitches jumping over tables and slapping, like it was just too much, and I'm completely over that. Let alone the crazy ass Jackie Christie's of LA and all that shit. Hence the reason I didn't even watch this current season that actually just ended yesterday of Basketball Wives LA. Well, actually it's just Basketball Wives now. I didn't even watch that season. I just listened to the reviews, which were funny as shit, but I didn't even watch an episode because I'm just over that. So anyway, I said I'll give these chicks a try, and then I'll make a later determination on whether I'm going to continue to review them or not. Anyway, opens up. Come to find out, what's her name? I always mess it up. Kiafa. Kiafa Vick is the wife of the legendary Michael Vick. It opens up with them, and she's actually the EP for the executive producer for this show. So that's cool, I guess. So immediately it opens up. She introduces herself. Hi, I am Kiafa Vick, wife of my baby daddy, or I'm married to my baby daddy, Michael Vick. I'm like, you already sound stupid. You're married to your baby daddy anyway. So then they're sitting. As soon as she gets her introduction, she's sitting on the couch, and this is where I was like, okay, I see this is about to be bullshit already. The very first thing. The very first scene with these two, she's bringing up the whole. She said she was getting attacked online because of the comment that Mike had said about Colin's hair, the afro, which just happened a couple weeks ago. So they took that as, hey, we got this new show coming on. We need to put this piece in there to address that. That way we can get the bullshit out of the way. So it was like this whole, like Michael explaining himself. He said that he wasn't trying to attack Colin's views regarding, his hair and shit like that. He was just saying it from a stylistic standpoint. Whatever the fuck that means. You still said the bullshit. So she was kind of like scolding him or whatever about it. Like, why would you even say anything like that about this man? And this was pretty much his way to kind of apologize, I guess, on the show. So we can just get on with that shit and just leave it in the fucking past. That was the very first thing. I said that was some bullshit. Anyway, it sounded all scripted and shit, whatever the fuck he was talking about. So they've been together for 14 years. They have 2 kids together. Y'all, and I'm going to have to look down a lot on this review because all these people are new, so I don't really know. As far as their names and shit, so I'm going to just warn you in advance for that. So they've been married 14 years. They have 2 kids together. They also had to address his dog fighting shit from back in the day when he was let go from the Falcons and when he did his prison time and shit. So he also had to give an apology for that so we can move on past that and it won't be brought up anymore. Whatever. Then she says, I'm about to have a few of the girls over. Everybody lives in the same little gated community in Miami. I'm about to have some of the girls come over and we're going to have some mimosas and shit like that and just hang out. So then she has her girl, Geneva, which is like some kind of, I could tell she's a hood chick. She married this little skinny ass guy named Asante. He's a retired football player. However, he's getting into boxing now, so he's training for that. That's pretty much how their whole little interaction went. He's training to be a boxer now. Skinny as fuck, highly unattractive in my opinion. Geneva's a cute girl. I can tell she just got swooped up out of the hood somewhere by his ass. And I could tell that she probably never would have talked to this man if he wasn't in the NFL or on his way to the NFL or some shit. Whatever. Anyway, she's over there. She has introduces another girl named Asia. Asia's really pretty. Actually, she didn't really speak too much, but all she did say that she's married to some guy, and he's pretty much like she's the fancy one out of the group, but her husband is more like a black hillbilly, as she described him, like a super country guy. Actually, it just sounds more down to earth, and he's just not a flashy ass guy. She said like when they used to go out to eat and shit, like they'll pull up in a pickup truck versus a Maserati or some shit like that. So yeah, he just seems like I guess more of the down to earth, while she's more of the flashy, fancy bitch out the group. Then there's a girl named Ty who we get introduced to. Now she's actually in the process of getting a divorce. So yeah, we're gonna see where that goes, but. So far, everybody's been married, or actually married at this point. It's not a bunch of girlfriends and shit like Basketball Wives. So I'm cool at this point. So pretty much their whole session, as they're hanging out, they're sitting there gossiping about a bitch that lives across the street named Stacy, and I just didn't understand that. But anyway, they move into Stacy. This bitch lives directly across the street. She's just like, she looks very stripper. Like when I first saw her, I was getting Atlanta stripper. Like that's this long ass weave, big ass titty, like body. She just looked like a stripper. Straight up out the hood too. I think she's from like New Orleans, because you could hear every time she talked, you hear that NOLA accent. But yeah, she lives directly across the street, and she's sitting at her pool with Miko Grimes, who's this 41-year-old old bitch. No, let me not call her a bitch, because she was a little bitchy in this episode, but I'll talk about that later. I'm not going to call her a bitch now, but she's 41 years old. She's an older woman. She's married to, actually, I forgot his name. It's so many people. About 15 people, so my bad. But anyway, Stacy's sitting at her pool talking to Miko about her shit with the other bitch across the street, Kiafa. Apparently, Kiafa had knocked on her door about some grass not being cut or something like that. So that was their first interaction. Then the second incident that happened was the Vicks Rottweiler was chasing Stacy around or something. I guess he got loose, or she got loose. The dog's name is Lola. I did catch that. Lola was chasing Stacy around her yard or some shit. So they had this whole beef because of the grass situation and the dog. Is this why we really? Y'all these boss bitches that y'all claiming to be, and y'all worried about that? That's what your beef is about? We're going to see how this goes, y'all. I was getting kind of already disinterested. This was the first 10 minutes of the goddamn show. So then, next scene, there's some kind of, wait. Let me go. So after these little gossip sessions, Stacy and Miko, and then Kiafa and the girls at her house, Mike Vick hears them upstairs. He's upstairs, and he's like, really? Like, this is what y'all talking about? And I don't think this was even supposed to be a part of, what was going on. He's sitting there listening to these bitches gossip about Stacy across the street. And keep in mind, he's friends with Stacy's husband. So this is drawing like a rift in between their friendship because their wives are beefing. So he's standing up there. He's like, really? And like, he's kind of walking off mumbling some shit. But he's basically like, really? Like, y'all really sitting down there talking about this bullshit? He knew it was bullshit, and then so she's like, "Oh shit, well I guess I'm in trouble then." Like, yeah, shut the fuck up, cause just drumming up drama, and you sound ridiculous. So anyway, I guess he let her ass have it after that scene. So he told her that she needs to set shit straight. So the next scene we get is Kiafa has called Stacy to come meet her out for cocktails, so they can kind of bury the hatchet. However, I already knew this was about to be bullshit because Kiafa shows up with Geneva and her homegirl Carmina. who was like some kind of Miami publicist or something, this big chick. Yeah, so she brings two other girls with her. You're supposed to be meeting up with a girl to settle some beef, but yet you bring a posse with you. However, I guess Stacy knew, like, okay, I know this bitch for her works, so I'm gonna bring a bitch with me too. So she brought Miko with her, the chick she was talking at the pool with. So I'm like, okay, this is obviously orchestrated for some drama to pop off. Else I wouldn't have bought these other chicks with you, your backup or whatever. Anyway, so Kiafa started off, yo, I just want to apologize for what happened. No. She said, I'm just trying to figure out, like, basically try to clear the air. But she said something like, yeah, I came over to your house to apologize to you about the dog. Stacy immediately went into it. She said, no, you didn't. She cut her off. No, you didn't. She said, you sent your daughter and your aunt over. You never came to my house. And Kiafa was like, well, yeah, I did. She was like, no, you did not. Which I think Stacy would have remembered that shit if Kiafa actually came to her house to apologize about it. And Kiafa was sitting there looking stupid as fuck. Then all of a sudden, Geneva, the NOLA chick, jumps in and starts talking about that Stacy knocked on Kiafa's door, telling her not to be friends with Geneva. Some messy ass, dumbass bullshit that don't nobody give a fuck about. But basically, Geneva jumped into that shit to start drama with Stacy. And Stacy is like, put a muzzle on this bitch. Like, why are you even here, first of all? Then it turns into the fucking Geneva and Stacy battle. And Geneva's throwing out there that Stacy, like, what's this bitch say? You stay fucking people and you're an ex-stripper and you fucked my husband back in the day, and my husband didn't even, my husband confessed to the shit that he had fucked you. Now, keep in mind, this is all allegedly 10 years ago, because they've been married for 10 years. So, bitch, why did you feel that it was necessary to bring that shit up? Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Both of y'all are married, happy allegedly. Why would you bring that bullshit up? And they're talking about something that's pretty fresh, as far as their drama. And you throwing yourself into a situation to bring up some shit from 10 years ago about how this bitch fucked your husband in a goddamn car? Get the fuck out of here. So it pretty much deflected from Kiafa and Stacy to making up to pretty much Stacy and the bitch Geneva going back and forth. And it turned into that whole shit. So Kiafa said some bullshit, and this is when I started really getting turned off. And this is kind of like some shit that Mona be doing and be kind of playing with motherfuckers. Kiafa gonna say, yeah, I knew about the cheating, but it happened so long ago, I didn't think she would be, no, I heard about her sleeping with her husband, like I knew about all that shit, but Geneva acted like she wasn't gonna care, or like she never really cared about it, and it was so old, so I didn't think it would be a problem to bring her. Bitch, why wouldn't it? Like, I mean, granted, I wouldn't think it would be a problem either, but you, bitch, you know your motherfucking friend. You know that bitch, you brought her there exactly for that reason, to start up that bullshit, to start drama. You know she don't like her because she fucked with her man. A long time. Actually, it wasn't even her man. She fucked with her current husband before he even knew this bitch. He didn't cheat on her with her or anything like that. He just slept with this bitch. Allegedly, back in the day. So you knew exactly what the fuck you was doing, bitch. Stop playing with me. Ain't none of us stupid, bitch. We've been watching reality shows, the whole Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, all this trash ass TV that we watch. We know how the game goes, bitch. You knew what you was fucking doing. This ain't new. Excuse me. Anyway, so this little argument ends, and then this is weird as shit. If right after this scene is done, it fast forwards and says 8 months later on the screen. And Stacy is 8 months pregnant at a doctor's checkup with her husband. And this is where I was like, okay, I'm maybe kind of done with this. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of this. Okay, this is 8 months later at this point. Stacy's 8 months pregnant. Let's go back to the very beginning of this review. You remember how I said the very first scene, it started with Michael Vic, like, giving this half-ass apology about the comments about Colin's afro. That wasn't 8 months ago. That was just actually, like, in present time. That was actually a couple weeks ago, maybe 2, 3 weeks ago when that shit kind of went down. So how are we fast forwarding 8 months to the in the show, but all this apology and all of that shit happened allegedly 8 months ago, but hell, that situation just happened a couple weeks ago. Stop playing with us. We're not stupid. I'm sure other people caught that shit too. Anyway, Stacy's at this checkup 8 months later with her husband. His name is Chris Chambers. Okay, so they had to do a little bit of introduction and explanation about their fucking side-ass relationship that they had. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way because he goes into this thing about how they met. The very first thing he says is, yeah, we met at a restaurant and I saw her light-skinned, beautiful, sexy self across the restaurant. And I'm thinking, like, why the first thing, and he's a dark-skinned man. Why the first thing, and I think a lot of people do this. Like, you saw this that was the first thing you said was her light-skinned, beautiful, sexy self, or whatever he said. But the first thing you notice is her light skin. So that's what drew you to her, was her beautiful light skin. Anyway, I'm sure other people are probably going to let them have it about that too in their reviews. But yeah, I just did that because I was like, oh, here we go. Some bullshit. So you seen this light-skinned ass bitch across the restaurant with this long ass weave, and you decided this was going to be the chick that you want to be with. However, as he keeps explaining, he was motherfucking married. And gave her a false ass name, said his name was Chris Gregory instead of Chris Chambers. But then once she found out his real name and found out that he was married and shit like that, allegedly, bitch, I don't even believe that shit. She found out that he was married, and then it was over. No. Once she addressed him, he decided to get a separation from his wife. Then Stacy moved to San Diego, and then they got married, and they've been together for like 10 years or something now. So pretty much when y'all met, you was like the side chick, and he left his wife for you, pretty much. That's what I got from y'all whole situation. From the as much as they tried to sugarcoat it, that's what I got. You was the side chick, he left his wife, now you're the wife. And y'all got one daughter, and y'all have one on the way now. Moving on. Geneva, chick from NOLA. I told you that her husband is like a retired baller, and now he's trying to get into boxing. Skinny ass motherfucker. Not cute at all. He didn't know, she claims she didn't know that he was a baller, and like he used to ask her for gas money and shit like that. Like he was probably playing a game with her to see if she was really in it for him or whatever. I don't see this bitch being with his ugly ass if she didn't know he was a fucking baller. I'm sure you probably just played that game like, oh yeah, I'll give you some gas money. Yeah, because I'm not about to let this nigga know that I'm not about his money. So yeah, I can play that game too. Bitch, we all know how to play that game. How to not look like a gold digger. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, yeah, he's practicing his boxing skills and shit. He's trying to be the next big boxer. But she's worried about, him getting injured because he's so goddamn small. Whatever. Moving the fuck on. We go to Miko. This is where Miko kind of came off kind of bitchy to me. There is a there's a cast member named Kelly. This bitch's face was all pumped out. So I saw her, I was like, ooh, she's giving like that Miami kind of, I don't even know what she is. Some kind of exotical chick. But she got all these fillers, and the lips is done, and her face actually look a little sideways to me on the left side of the face. But she's married to this black man. Actually, she's white. She's white. She looks very exotic because of the fucking fillers. She's all pumped up like it's making her look almost like I don't want to say Dominican, but Brazilian or something. She looks exotic because of all this shit she's had done. But anyway, she's married to this black guy. His name is Julius Jones. Super well-spoken guy. I could tell that he's grown up around white people, and he speaks really proper, and I could just tell that he's come up around a lot of white people. And he actually said that he grew up around white people, and he actually didn't have a girlfriend at all until he got to college. So that's the little background on them. So we're at Miko's house. She has this little podcast that she does called I Heart Miko or some shit like that. But it's like a sports related podcast show that she does. And she has Julius as one of her guests. The very first thing this bitch does is jump into this whole bullshit about him marrying a white woman. And he was like, yeah, we could talk about it. It's cool. Like, I'm sure he's dealt with it. That's all he had to hear, you know. She says, yeah, black women were offended to see you holding a white woman's hand. And I'm like, damn, bitch, you're supposed to be representing all black women's opinion. Damn, and it sounds like, bitch, are they offended or you offended? Somebody, yeah, black women were offended when they saw you holding a white woman's hand. I said, bitch, it sounds like you're the one that's motherfucking offended. But anyway, she tried to clown him on that shit. And he's like, bitch, it is what it is. That's my motherfucking wife. That's all I fucking known. Bitch, we done been together 10 years. Fuck the bullshit. And he deflected that whole motherfucking conversation about who he's fucking with, who he's married to, and shit, to addressing an issue which I thought was good to address about the whole injuries in NFL regarding like concussions and shit like that. So he flipped it all around. He did it really well. Like I say, he's a really well-spoken guy. Flipped it around and turned it into that, and mentioned how like his son is playing football now. Him and his wife, Kelly, have 2 young boys, and one's playing football. And or football and baseball or something, but he was mentioning how a lot of guys get injured, and it's like a small injury every time somebody hits your head, and it's like, you know, over the years you get a concussion all the time, and over the years it becomes deadly, you know, and a lot of guys are dying from that in the NFL, and he really does not want his son to go down that road of being a professional football player, because he knows the amount of injuries. And he said he's actually had injuries and shit. You know, he just doesn't want him dealing with that. And I like that message, because a lot of, especially in our community, and I know a lot of people that do this too, like they're kind of, I don't want to say force their sons, but they kind of influence their sons to kind of go down this football route. Like that's, you know, like that's the only sport that's out there for black men, basketball or football. And he had also mentioned something, like I said, his kids play baseball, and Miko was kind of like, yeah, you know, that's the way to go, because she said it's not, football really isn't a contact sport, it's a collision sport, which is fucking dangerous, you know? And I just like that whole message. Like, everybody doesn't, stop fucking pushing your kids to go into basketball and football, specifically, football, because it's so fucking, fuck y'all, I'm blanking the fuck out. It's so easy to get injured. Head collisions and shit every fucking day. And everybody only sees what goes on Sunday on the field, but they're always practicing. They're always hitting each other. There's always injuries. Message there, do some other shit. You don't have to fucking play football. Do some golf. Influence your kids to play baseball. Influence them to play soccer, hockey. It's other ways of getting out of the hood and, you know, being a professional athlete than football. It's killing us, end of the day. So, how I said Miko was kind of bitchy, all those comments that she was making about him being with the white woman and being angry that he's with a white woman and shit like that, that's where I was like, okay, you're being kind of bitchy now, because you started out with that shit. And it just came off kind of bitchy to me. Anyway, moving the fuck on. So keep in mind, we're 8 months later, and I'm about to wrap this shit up. We're 8 months later now, and Stacy is 8 months pregnant. So there's this rooftop party that that's being thrown. I don't remember exactly who was throwing it, but there's this rooftop party going on. So all of these bitches are going to be there. Kelly, who's married to the black guy, Julius, who I was just talking about, she's already there, like, starting drama or, like, gossiping about Kiafa's issues with Stacey and what's going to happen when Stacey gets there. And I'm like, bitch, you being messy. And, like, I don't even remember her being at the last event. Like, but she really doesn't have anything to do with it. So she was just being messy and gossiping and shit about that, like, stirring up drama. And I'm like, stop anticipating the shit. Like, Stacey ain't even here yet. So they're just already just perpetuating the drama and shit before the shit even happens. How you even know Stacey's coming? Anyway, but moving on. So Stacey finally gets there, and Stacey's with some other chick. I think it was Carmina. No, it wasn't Carmina. Carmina was there. That's the big girl, the publicist. Everybody goes over to, around one table. Kiafa is speaking to one of Stacey's friends, and she's like, hey, do you like my dress? And that motherfucking Stacey said, no, we don't. Kiafa kept it cool. Next thing I know, it turns into Stacey popping off on the big girl, Carmina. She pops off on Kiafa. Like, just starts going off on... Actually, she goes off on everybody and said, I'm not scared of none of you bitches. And it just went on from there. And I'm like, bitch, first of all, you doing a lot of motherfucking talking for your ass to be sitting here talking about you 8 months pregnant. And you got your fingers up in Kiafa's face talking about your ring and I'm married. And that's one thing I don't do. Like, pregnant girls, like, y'all need to be having the seat. Like, I hate when pregnant girls try to insert themselves in the shit. Like, don't, just because you're pregnant that a motherfucker won't. I mean, I wouldn't personally hit a pregnant chick, but, like, there's some crazy ass motherfuckers out here that don't give a fuck. And just because you pregnant, bitch, don't mean you can't get hit. And you all up in bitches' faces, calling them bitches and all kind of shit. Talking about, I ain't scared of none of you bitches. All right, that Carmina looked like that big bitch. She looks crazy. And you all up in her face and shit. And I was like, you better back the fuck up. But anyway, one of the nastiest things she said was, Khalifa said something like, or Kiafa said something like, yeah, you need to check your medication, or you didn't take your medication tonight. And Stacey responds, well, your mama needs to take her medication. Kiafa said, well, my mother is dead. Like, she's dead. There's no medication for her to be taken. And this bitch Stacey says, well, good. And everybody's looking like, really, bitch, did you just say that? That it's good that her mom is dead? That was so fucking nasty. And she looks fucking ridiculous at that point. And I think everybody was kind of over her. And I think she realized that everybody was over her. So that's when she got to talking about, I don't give a fuck about none of these bitches. And all of that shit. Because, bitch, you're going to have to eat that shit up later. I'm sure they were letting her have it last night on social media. I'm sure. But overall, I wasn't too impressed. It was giving me Basketball Wives Miami season 1. You know, bitches are trying to make their name, so they're trying to come out with a bang in the first episode. Seems like a lot of stage drama, which I already fucking knew it was going to be. Yeah, gotta turn around. But they need to work on their fucking editing. Don't be adding some shit, some current events at the beginning of the episode and then speed it up later on, talk about we're 8 months later. And, bitch, we know this shit with Colin just happened a couple weeks ago. And, I hate when people try to play with my fucking intelligence, especially these little reality shows. Like I said, Mona's good at doing that shit. Love and hip hop and whatever. So we'll see how this shit goes. It is what it is. I'm going to watch it next week and I will see y'all then. Bye.